this video, let's get to know this machine just a little bit. This is the HCD Series 1501, 15 needles, single head. There are some important parts of the machine that you should know as you get to know how to operate and maintain it. One of those is the most obvious here, which is called the moving head. The moving head moves back and forth, left and right, to put the currently selected color over the needle plate. The needle plate is where the sewing takes place, so whichever one of these colors is over the needle plate is the one that's going to sew. The head either moves automatically while it's on. When the machine's done with one color, it'll stop, cut, and then the head will automatically move left and right. The moving head's primary purpose, besides putting the right color over the needle plate at the right time, is also to deliver that thread by driving the needle down through the fabric so that it catches, and then the other half is located here in this arm that runs out. This is what's called the tubular sewing arm. This contains the rotary hook, which contains or holds or dispenses a small spool of bobbin thread that loops with the colored thread to make each stitch. So the arm's primary purpose is twofold. One, to dispense the bobbin thread, and also to create the stitch, and also to perform the cutting as necessary. Another important component of your embroidery machine, besides the sewing machine part, is what's called the Pantograph system. Moves the garment to the right place at the right time, put the right stitch with the right color at the right time. The Pantograph system has a left and a right component, also called the X system, and that function is done by this white bar here, which is called the X carriage. Its primary purpose, accomplished by the motor behind this bulge, is to move the garment left and right. The whole X carriage also rides on rails that are embedded inside these two legs. These rails move the entire X carriage forwards and backwards. It's okay for you to move the arms when the machine is off, just don't do this when the machine is powered on. This Y rail system is responsible for movement frontwards and backwards, or what's called the Y movement system. Again, the X carriage is responsible for left-right movement. The HCD's tubular arm setup has the flexibility to accommodate a wide variety of hoops. This is accomplished by allowing the arms to be positioned at several points along the sash. For example, at this spacing, which is called the 360 spacing, it accommodates for the most common hoops, such as the 15 centimeter round hoop, which fits directly on here at this arm spacing. The 12 centimeter round hoop, which also comes with the machine. And even the large 12.5 by 12.5 inch square hoop, which also fits at the same 360 millimeter spacing. Alternatively, these arms can be moved to an outermost position using the included 3 millimeter hex wrench. By loosening the screws, you only need to turn it a half turn. At the base of each arm, you can remove the arms and then move them to the outer position marked 520 spacing, for example. We'll do this to both sides. Tighten them down. And the included very, very large 17.25 by 16.5 inch hoop can also be accommodated for very, very large designs or multiple copies of many of the same design. Also, there's the touchscreen controller, which contains USB ports for USB thumb drives. And on the left side here, behind the bezel, you'll find live computer connection ports such as LAN and USB ports for live cable connections. You also have a start-stop button to start and stop sewing, and a cut button to perform a cut when the machine stopped. Also, you have an emergency stop button up here at the top. You can push that in if you need to stop the machine suddenly, but if you need to start the machine again, it will not turn on until you've raised it back up by twisting the button in the direction of the arrow and let it pop up again. To power on the machine, the power switch is here and a black rocker switch on the operator's right side, just below the control panel. Switch it on, wait for the machine to boot up. When you see the splash screen with the HappyJapan logo, the machine will ask you at this point to press next to continue into sewing mode. We'll go ahead and do that, and when you do, notice that the arm will move and perform a short self-test, and then you'll see that the machine will go into sewing mode. The machine is now in sewing mode, or what's called the drive screen. Be sure to watch the basic orientation video on how to operate the control panel to set up